Hi everyone, this is Nazarima here. I'm here to share my story with epilepsy, and my intention here is to raise awareness on epilepsy. As you may have known that I have a condition with seizures. And what is a seizure actually? A seizure is a sudden rush of uncontrolled electrical activity in the brain, and I'm here to share with you some of my personal experiences with seizures. Different people will have different types of epilepsy, different types of seizures. Some might have like a full blast grand mal seizure, which is the most dangerous, where you will just collapse on the floor and you will shake and you'll have like foam in your mouth. Some might lose control of your body, you might collapse as well. Some might have partial seizure where you know, some might just like lose awareness of the environment. They might just do like lip smacking. They might be like walking here and there without being aware of the environment. Some might just be staring blankly into space without knowing what is happening around them. Losing consciousness as well. So it really depends on the types of seizures that you have. Some of the personal experiences I have, I was diagnosed officially in 2015, but way before that, I have had seizures without being diagnosed, without knowing that I have epilepsy. I was heavily pregnant with my son back then. I was staying in KL and I was grocery shopping, I think in Tesco or Cold Storage in KL. And we were looking at like toiletries and with my kids, and then suddenly I collapsed and I couldn't recall what happened next. All I could hear was like people shouting "Tolong, tolong, tolong," and then like I think there were like chaos, and I only like regained back my consciousness and looking at like people like around me, and I saw security guards with my kids, and I was like so grateful that there were people like looking after my kids, and you know, my kids are safe. I was in a public place and the security guards were like looking after my children, and I had to like drive back home after that, because no one else was around to drive me home in KL, in a foreign land. Another incident, I think I've shared this with the media before. I was doing voluntary work with Club Hill. I was across the road from Darul Gufran Mosque in Tampines at a bus stop, and I was crossing the road. I collapsed on the road, and I could remember the coarseness of the tar on my skin, and the bus was like horning. I could hear the sound of the bus, and I could also remember like the smell of like tiger balm. I think someone could have like placed tiger balm on my nose to try to revive me, and I only woke up in the ambulance, and I remember like the paramedics trying to ask me a lot of questions I couldn't answer. I was blurry, I don't know what to answer. I couldn't, like, they stripped me naked and they thought I was on drugs. They like trying to find drugs on my body, and they thought I was drunk or something because I was like, you know, blur and I couldn't answer anything. I felt discriminated a few times in the emergency room. There were a few times, but I couldn't blame them because, you know, I couldn't respond. We really don't know what happened during a seizure because we were not conscious and we really couldn't answer unless you ask the witnesses around us whether we like bite on our tongue, or whether we like roll our eyes, or whether we, you know, like we peed on our pants. You know, things happen. So there were a few injuries that I experienced. There were times where I scalded myself. There were times where the next day after a seizure, I had like blue-black all over my body. There were times where I had like bumps on my head because I think I knocked my head on like sharp edges of furniture. I think there were also like there was like when I was heavily pregnant with my son, there were a few times where I fell on my tummy and we had to go to the gynae immediately after my fall to ensure that the baby was okay. We had to do a scan, and alhamdulillah, fortunately the baby is always fine. My son was fine. There was like a very challenging pregnancy, but alhamdulillah everything was okay. And the most recent one, I went missing for like 5 hours at night. I was in my pajamas. I didn't bring my handphone. I wasn't wearing a mask. I went missing. My kids couldn't find me. I wasn't bringing anything. I was just in my pajamas missing. And when they found me, I was crying. I was in a blur state. I couldn't remember anything. I wasn't aware of anything at all. So that was the recent one that I experienced. Anyway, some of these things that happen, not everyone understand. Only people who have epilepsy will understand, and the public may not understand. Like, people will see that, hey, you're fine, you look okay, you look good, nothing's wrong with you, but you don't know what happens behind closed doors. You know, like, social media is all about the good stuff, isn't it? Like, you don't know what happens behind closed doors. You don't know the frustration that this is the reality of life. I'm sharing the reality of the pain and the frustration that we feel, but we are here not to ask for sympathy. We are here to seek compassion and understanding from the public, where I want to raise awareness that, you know, this is what we experience, the frustration, no matter sometimes we take medication or some go for surgery, but it still happens. They still get recurrence or relapse of seizures even after the high risk of surgery on your brain. Some go to the spiritual route, where, you know, some people will say that you don't pray enough and you're not spiritual enough, and even after going through that route you still get seizures. So it happens across all religions, across all races. So, well, I'm here to spread awareness, to spread positivity. There's nothing negative, you know. It's just to help people to understand what people with epilepsy go through, and, you know, it happens. It's a condition. It's a neurological condition, just like diabetes or kidney failure or cancer. Some might be helped by medication, surgery, some might not be helped. So everybody heal or recover at their own pace, you know, so there's no 100% guarantee that you might recover and there's no relapse, or, you know, it's how your body go through the process to recover and heal. And I'm also trying to raise awareness, like, to be useful for you to have that knowledge. Like, for example, if you see someone having a seizure in public, what do you do? Like, you know, call for an ambulance if it happens, like it stretches more than 5 minutes, because the longer someone has a seizure, the higher the risk of brain damage or even death could occur, because it will affect the brain for sure. So turn the person to the left side and try not to put anything in the mouth, and try to get like ventilation and not crowd around the person too much. Call for the ambulance if you need to. But if the person like revive or regain consciousness within like a minute or two, then there's no need to call for an ambulance, because it's really like a waste of money. Like the patient have to pay for the ambulance fee for just like a normal seizure. Because sometimes when I collapse in public for many a times, too many a times. It gets too normal and we don't need an ambulance if it's less than 2 minutes because it's a waste of money. Anyway, what we seek is compassion and understanding from the public. We fall, we literally fall, and we get up again. We can run and we can jump as high as we can, so stay strong. I want to hear your story, and do share your story with me, like the medication that you take and what are the side effects that you have. Have you gone through surgery, and what are the complications that you get after surgery? Do you recover fully, or do you still get seizures after surgery? You know, like some people, depending on the location of your epilepsy, it's highly linked with depression. Epilepsy is not a mental illness. However, depending on the location, it's closely linked with depression. So it's really highly sensitive condition because of the location of the body. It's in the brain and not on the hand or the heart or, you know, legs. So if you are shy to share in the comments below, do share in my epilepsy support group, the SGE Brain Warrior, which I'm gonna put the link here. Do join the support group. It's to support each other and empower one another. You know, sometimes people will not understand until they experience it for themselves. So you know, you could have a seizure like 5 minutes ago and you don't know who to talk to. Like, you could just, you know, post something and we could, you know, like support you and say, hey, you know, it's okay, you know, I've had a seizure last night too, so, you know, you're gonna be okay. It's just that knowing that you're not alone really makes a big difference sometimes, you know. So just here to support one another, and I wish you well. Stay safe, stay healthy, and be strong. Thank you. Bye-bye.